Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of The Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, AR the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about Florida anti-gun oathbreakers being added again, as well as Maine oathbreakers being added again, too. Basically, you just got a bunch of scumbag Democrats who should have already been arrested out of office at this point for deprivation of law, for all kinds of other tyranny charges and stuff like that. And the problem is these fuckers keep going for broke is what it is, dude. They know everything they're doing is unconstitutional. They know everything that they're doing is a direct violation to the U.S. Constitution they took to uphold when they took office in their respective general assemblies. And yet, they're going to keep doing this shit as long as we let them do it, is what it is, man. Which is exactly why, honestly, it's time to bring these fuckers up on high treason, is what it is, dude. And deprivation of law. Both of which can hold a death penalty sentence, what it is, honestly, and the story on that one. And that's what needs to happen, honestly, man. Like, I would say minimum life imprisonment at this point for these people. Like, if you're going to sit there and openly defy the Second Amendment of the Constitution, first of all, you don't need to be in office ever again, is what it is. You need to be permanently exiled from office or holding office ever again in this country, which is the lowest term for deprivation of law. It's 1 year and 1 day in prison, 1 year and 1 day in prison, so 360 days in prison would be then. And you can never hold office after that, is what it is. Then, of course, it goes to 10 years, never hold elected office. Life imprisonment, never obviously hold elected office because your imprisonment is what it is. Or death penalty, depending on the severity of the crime is what it is for that. And then, of course, high treason and straight death penalty is what it is. So, and yeah, when you're trying to destroy, like, I would say, honestly, when you're attempting to destroy the sovereignty of this nation, like, you're definitely committing high treason is what it is, dude. So, when you're openly trying to destroy people's constitutional right to keep and bear arms is what it is against our government, which, by the way, people don't realize this, honestly, it seems like most of them do anyway, is the entire Bill of Rights of the U.S. Constitution that our founding fathers wrote, dude, was written as things that the government cannot infringe upon. Not just the Second Amendment, but everything else for that matter. The first through the 10th is what it is. And it's like, at what point is it like enough is enough, dude? At what point is it like legitimately the American people step the fuck up, handcuffs in hand, and just start citizens arresting these cocksuckers ourselves? Is what it will be then, you know? Because I feel like we're definitely coming to that precipice in history right now, where something's going to need to be done, you know? And I think 2024 is going to be the breaking point, is what it is here. Which, by the way, we're currently 168 days from something kicking off, I believe. You know, we currently have all kinds of shit happening in this country. You have all kinds of riots, all kinds of, BS pro-Palestine so-called protests. They're just nothing more than a bunch of terrorist activities, what it is, to a low-level grades is what it is there. Like, it's not like directly like firebombings or anything like that yet, obviously. But, I mean, hell, it could be pretty damn soon, honestly, man. But no, right now it's just them being a bunch of assholes committing, like, low-level misdemeanors and shit like that, like blocking traffic and stuff, which, by the way, depending on what state you live in, could be a low-level felony, actually. I know for a fact it's like a low level to high level misdemeanor, though, especially if you get like repeat offenses, what it is there, because you're obviously obstructing traffic is what it is, dude. And sorry, when you're legitimately shutting down like main thoroughfares in this country, like specifically like JFK Airport or LAX, whatever the case be, dude, your ass needs to be arrested for fucking terrorism on that one, dude, for real, because you were openly attempting to blockade something that is a main hub of travel in this country, both in and out of this country. So, anyway. That being said, we got a couple different stories we're going to talk about today is what it is, though. We also got the main story here, which is gun restrictions bills on tap in Maine legislature after state's deadliest mass shooting. So, this is the problem I have with the whole thing, right? Is you have these fucking people that are going to sit there and use Lewiston, Maine, a preventable tragedy, by the way, that only happened because of two multiple failures in that state. The first one being, obviously, you had a fucking psychopath who, in a state with a yellow flag law being Maine, and the state with a red flag law being New York, which is where he was at doing that training when he went all psycho and shit, yet neither one was ever enacted against this motherfucker. You know, so shocker, gun control doesn't work is what it is, dude. Never has, never will. Which makes sense when you're trying to make this shit happen is what it is, dude. Which makes sense when you look at these as a false flag attack is what it is, which is exactly what it is at the end of the day. It's a way to attack people's gun rights is what it is. It's a way to infringe further on people's right to keep and bear arms in this country. And it's nothing more than a bunch of assholes who should not be in any position of power at all in this country. Especially not that fucking, what's that woman's name? Like Chandra or something? Bellows, the dumb bitch who's Secretary of State there in Maine, who is trying to take Trump off the ballot there is what it is. Now, granted, people said, I guess it was AG. They thought she was AG or whatever the case was. She's not, obviously. She's SOS is what it is. But the entire thing is, I know for a fact that AG, you have to have an actual law degree. And I thought for Secretary of State, you're supposed to have something similar if that be the case then, man. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that one. Like, I know Frank LaRosa is my Secretary of State right here in Ohio right now. Obviously, I don't vote for the guy. He's a fucking idiot, I think, honestly, personally. And I would love to see him just resign from office at this point because he's not doing a damn thing to actually, keep voter integrity alive in the state right now. He's sitting there falsely claiming all over Twitter/X that he's doing that shit. He's not doing a damn thing to actually looking at voter fraud in the state, honestly. Because if he did, he'd actually find a shitload of it throughout the last, 4 election cycles from 2023 to 2022 to 2020 to 2018. With obviously the biggest one being Sherrod Brown's 2018 cheat to remain in power in the U.S. Senate. And then, obviously, Biden's mega cheat here. Then you got Democrats obviously stealing seats in 2020 and 2022 midterms as well. To get into Congress and local level, here's what it is. Doesn't matter for that whole thing. At a state level, here's what it would be then. And then you also have that special election recently, where you had Bloomberg bribe money, basically, getting a bunch of people to vote against the 6% threshold, only to then have a bunch of college kids who are openly admitting that they were illegally voting both in that special election and in the fucking November election of last year, where they're like, yeah, we don't actually have voting rights in Ohio because we're out-of-state fucking college kids, but yeah, we're still going to vote here anyway somehow. And it's like, what the fuck, man? How is that not being addressed, right? It just blows my mind, honestly. When we are literal, this is the thing. It's not like this thing is not out there, dude. There is literal digital evidence right now that I have directly given to Frank LaRosa all over Twitter/X with various fucking at Frank LaRosas from the Hot Picture Education Network, where it's like, hey, dude, here's a Reddit post where these people are literally bragging about committing voter fraud. And this motherfucker has done nothing to investigate this shit at all. And the thing is, it's not even like he has to be the one directly investigating. He could literally have fucking somebody in his office do it for him if that'd be the case then. And be like, hey, 10 people that are on this fucking team. Ronnie over there in the fucking corner. Why don't you look into this for the day or whatever the case be and see if there's any validity to it. And the guy comes back to you, he's like, yeah, there is, dude. And then you actually bring fucking charges against motherfuckers, dude, is what it is. Or at bare minimum, you actually start levying, hey, these people are actively openly committing voter fraud here. We're going to seriously look into this shit. We're going to, reverse searches and stuff like that on IP addresses, for God's sakes. It's not that hard, dude. Seriously. It would take, a week maybe to get this shit done entirely. And you could have, dozens to hundreds of people being arrested for voter fraud in this state, honestly. But yet he's doing nothing to do that because he's just pissing away fucking time and money on a U.S. Senate race he's not even going to be fucking winning the primary of for the GOP here. So, yeah, it's fucking infuriating as hell, it is what it is. But anyway, going back to the main story at hand, here's what it is. Yeah, it's gun restrictions bills on tap Maine legislator after state's deadliest mass shooting. So, like I said, they're literally using a attack that was done by a psycho who admitted to doing stuff, who should have been, obviously, in states that have them red flagged or yellow flagged. Yet he wasn't. And yet he was able to go on and do that stuff. And shocker, what was the place he chose to do it? A bowling alley / bar, both of which were gun-free zones where nobody could be armed. Or were not encouraged to be armed, I should say, on that one. It's not like you can't be armed, you're just basically, you would be quote unquote, violating fucking company policy kind of shit is what it is there. And honestly, in most cases on that one, all they could do is ask you to leave. And if you don't leave, you could be criminally trespassed, what it is. But that being said, yeah, fucking carry anyway, dude. Seriously, those signs are a fucking joke. It's a fucking kill zone, for God's sakes. It's creating kill zones in this country. It's been creating them since 1990, when that fuckhead piece of shit Joe Biden literally was the fucking primary sponsor of the Gun-Free School Zones Act in 1990, dude. So we're talking about almost 24 fucking years now. Or sorry, not 24 fucking years. 34 fucking years now. that we've had this bullshit in place now, and you have a situation where for nearly 3.5 decades, we have had mass shooting after mass shooting after mass shooting after mass shooting in these fucking zones, dude. Enough is enough of this shit. It is time to completely repeal this fucking garbage that should never been in the books in the first goddamn place and be done with it. And it's as simple as that, honestly. You want to actually help people be better off in places? Fucking let them carry in these places, dude. And that's the thing, too, right? Maine is a constitutional carry state, for God's sakes. Like, fucking carry there, people. Do your fucking job as a citizen and be ready to be the person that takes down a fucking psycho trying to do a mass shooting in that fucking place. You know, we talked about that weeks to months ago is what it was, and it happened with Corey that weekend. And we were discussing the people that actually tried to stop this motherfucker, but shocker, none of them were armed. Hell, even the fucking manager of the bar tried to grab a big-ass butcher knife and go after this dude, but of course, he couldn't make up the fucking 21 feet rule distance in time and got shot with the fucking rifle is what it was. Whereas if he'd had a gun, he could have figured out a way to basically do an ambush attack on this son of a bitch and been like, ding, 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 and fucking just blowing his goddamn brains out is what it is, dude. Or any of the people that confronted him to begin with is what it was. When you had 3-4 guys confronting, and of course they all got shot in fucking sequence, then is what it was. Had any or all those guys just simply pulled guns and just been like, bang, 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 it would have sent this fucker fleeing then, dude, at minimum. Because I can't remember if he had body armor on or not that night. And the thing is, at minimum, it would have sent him fleeing because he would have been fucking, involved or would have actually had him active engaged is what it would be then. You know, and the reason I say fleeing is because most of these people that do this kind of shit are a bunch of coward-ass pussies, dude. Like, the second they have anybody step up and be an active, armed engager to actually self-defend against their pieces of shit ass, they will almost always cower like a little bitch and run out of the fucking place is what it is then. And had any of those 3 guys been armed that night, or all of them been armed that night, you could have easily had, 2-3 dudes taking down one fucking guy with pistols versus fucking rifle. Even if they don't hit the target, like, they're at least, firing in the direction, and it's enough to, like, possibly scare the shit out of the dude and him to, like, fucking, run for it or whatever the case be. And then, hell, maybe you run after him and you take a couple fucking shots on the back or whatever the case be as he's running away, and you fucking end the threat right there is what it is, dude. So he can't come back in there and do any more damage or any more harm, or for God's sakes, go to another place and start another fucking shooting is what it is then. Because that's the thing. I'm sorry, but, like, people that say don't shoot fleeing suspects, fuck that shit, dude. Like, this dude is still an active threat. They are still an active fucking threat because it could easily go into another fucking part of a building and another route into another entrance or whatever it is there and start another fucking shooting spree over there, or they could simply run across the fucking street and go to another business and start shooting that fucking place up, dude. So no, you end that fucking threat on the goddamn spot is what it is. And be fucking done with it. Anyway. It says Augusta, Maine. I love how they say honoring victims, survivors, and first responders following deadliest mass shooting in Maine history. It is the first order of business for lawmakers returning to work Wednesday at the State House. Yeah, sure. You're literally honoring these people by having them be used. You're using them as pawns. That's what you're doing. You're not honoring them at all. The people who are dead, you are literally standing on the graves of the fucking dead to push your goddamn anti-gun agenda, dude. That's what you're doing, honestly, with this whole situation. Like I said, if you want to do something better, Maine, make better stand your ground laws in fucking Maine, dude. Hell, encourage places to no longer be gun-free zones, for God's sakes. Hell, enact an anti-gun-free zone fucking bill or something like that, dude. Anyway, says Lewiston shooting tribute was expected to set the tone for a session that will include several gun safety proposals. They're not gun safety, they're gun control, dude, is what it is. Including potential changes to the state's so-called yellow flag law. Yeah, they're probably going to make a red flag law, is my guess, honestly, at this one. Says Maine's gun safety coalition, probably Giffords and fucking Bloomberg is my guess, honestly, on that one, planned a demonstration in the Hall of Flags to show support for victims and their families. Okay, well, if that was the case, dude, then you would shut the fuck up, and you would move the fuck along, people, and you would shut your goddamn mouths about being an anti-gun fuckboy is what it is. And you would simply let good pro-choice legislation pass into the state then, if that be the case then. You would actually encourage the banning of gun-free zones in the state of Maine. And call it something with the people that were actually killed in this whole thing. You know? I'm trying to remember how many died actually. If it was like 13 or it was like 20 something or whatever the case be. Because whatever it would be then, it would be like that number and then like the act is what it would be then. And the places that happened at, it would be like, you know, that number, the places that it happened at, and then it's like that act is what it would be called then. And that would be actually honoring these people, is what it would be then. Anyway, it said, quote, "Our hearts are broken about the shootings in Lewiston," said David Farmer, spokesman for the group, said there is an urgent need for action on gun safety reform. No, there's not, you fucking ass clown. There's not at all, dude. So we can't wait any longer to confront this growing problem. You are the fucking growing problem, David Farmer, because it's pieces of shit like you trying to disarm anybody that could have actually been a first responder to kill this motherfucker on the spot that night. You are the fucking problem 100%, buddy. You and your anti-gun fuckboys that are all Bloomberg fucking paid puppets is what it is, you fucking cocksucker. Anyway, it said also on the agenda was a request by State Rep John Andrews, who sits on the Veteran and Legal Affairs Committee, to impeach Secretary of State Shannon Bellows, who denied Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump a spot in the primary over the role in January 6th, which is a bunch of BS entirely, obviously. Said it was unclear how the impeachment process would play out in Democrat-controlled legislature. First hurdle would be a vote to proceed in the House. There would be an impeachment, blah, blah, blah. Said lawmakers also planned to consider bills carried over to the last session, including a proposal to give greater sovereignty to Native American tribes and other stuff like that. So, yeah, they're really going to what they're going to actually try and push for gun control is what it is, though, except for like the yellow flag thing. So, yeah, it's just a bunch of scumbaggers what it is, dude, on the whole thing. It's a bunch of fucking cocksucking pieces of shit is what it is, honestly, dude. And I'm so goddamn sick of it, is what it is, dude, for real. And then, of course, you know, we got the people that are actually fighting back in this country against unconstitutional BS that passed through their General Assemblies last year, which was basically, you know, have gun rights groups suing the shit out of Colorado over states' ban on so-called ghost guns. And it's like, good. They should never be allowed to do that kind of stuff, honestly, dude. And like I said, when you're actively proposing these bills, you should no longer be part of that General Assembly at all, dude, after that. And it's as simple as that, really. Like, literally, it's as simple as that. You know? So, anyway. And then going to the final story of the day, which is the Florida General Assembly. Here we got Florida Republicans, Democrats file 2024 gun bill, set up clash over safety and rights. I love how, this is the one thing I love about Democrats is how they shape words and stuff, dude. And they're a bunch of manipulators, what it is, dude. They are literally the biggest gaslighters on planet Earth is what it is, man. Because they'll sit there and lie to your fucking face about what something is. They'll be like, oh, it's not gun control, it's gun safety. It's gun reform. It's a way to protect everybody. Yeah, you're protecting everybody by stealing their fucking shit and their ability to go protect themselves, you fucking assholes. No, you're fucking literally taking away their rights and infringing upon their Second Amendment ability to defend themselves and anyone else that potentially could be harmed due to some fucking psycho walking into a place and shooting the goddamn place up is what it is, you fuckers. So fuck all y'all, man. Seriously. Every single one of you cocksucker Democrats should be in prison right now, dude, for real. Anyway, so a stark difference in how Florida Democrats and Republicans balance gun rights with public safety is shown in bills filed for the 2024 regular season in Florida, which begins January 9th. Which will be just over a week from now is what it is. Or actually, it's a week, or sorry, 6 days now, because it would be next Tuesday would be when it starts, actually. It says the 10 firearms-related proposals include one that aims to repeal the landmark stand your ground law that earned Florida the Gunshine State nickname. Yeah, Democrats can fuck off on that one, dude. So it's almost guaranteed to be ignored by GOP supermajority that controls both chambers in Tallahassee. Good. Fucking needs to be. So another Republican-backed bill inserts a loophole in the background check requirement for a firearms purchase imposed after the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas mass shooting. Literal fucking false flag, by the way. When you have the fucking FBI/Secret Service out there like 25 plus times at that school, when you literally had the fucking Broward County piece of shit cops who legitimately took the CCTV footage. This is actually, by the way, this is actually fact. I've looked into this shit and I can verify this stuff. These fuckers literally at that school, when it was named the quote safest school in America at the time before it happened, before that mass shooting happened, Turns out it was actually one of the worst fucking schools in this country at that time, because you would have these Broward ass fucking piece of shit RSOs do, these school resource officers, or sorry, SROs, the school resource officers, what they would do actually, they would go into the fucking, the building there where the CCTV footage was stored is what it was, and actually redo the time stamps on the thing. So if it was like 1 p.m., it would be 12 p.m. on their thing then. And they did this because almost every single day in that school, you had multiple fights breaking out in the hallways. And so what they would do is you would have them go to review the footage at 1 p.m. There'd be nothing there. But of course, you went back an hour to where they reset the shit. There would be a bunch of kids beating the fuck out of each other is what it was then. And of course, what they would do then is they would go in there and before everybody would be able to review that footage is what it was, they would go back that hour and erase that part of it out is what it was then. And just put it on like some weird loop is what it was then. So like nobody was doing anything is what it would be then in that school. So yeah, it's like so much crooked bullshit entirely, dude. And of course you got that fuckstick David Hogg, who there's very much evidence he was never even at that fucking school at all. He was a total plant at that fucking school is what it was, dude. Then you had all these little fuckers that were a bunch of bitches for CNN, etc. there, like that Delaney Tarr cunt who was all like, oh, we're gonna you give us that inch, that bump stock band, we're gonna take a mile. Right then and there, she should have been punched in the fucking mouth on that stage that night, dude. Back in 2018. Or sorry, I think it was 2019 at that point, actually. So, anywho. Yeah, going on to the with the saying here about thing it said so-called loophole in background check would enable a buyer to take possession of a gun without a law enforcement check of on disqualifying conditions. So basically, it would be a situation there where it's like, hey, your name is the exact same name as somebody else's name, like Bill Smith or, you know, Alex Jones or something, for God's sakes. And they'd be like, oh, you're a disqualified person. It's like, no, I'm not. And because you don't have one of those little pin things when you're doing 40 for 73, so it would be that would actually show that, like, you know, this is actually you. You know, you're like Bill Smith 1422 or something like that. It would be. It would be a whole situation there, being able to actually identify people properly and be like, no, you're not a fucking threat to society. You're actually able to buy a gun is what it is then. And as you should be able to buy one is what it is, man. Government shouldn't know what you have anyway to begin with, man. That's exactly what private sales are for in this country. So, anyways, his proposals came in a year where there were a bunch of lies by the mainstream media, falsely claiming 29 mass shootings in Florida, according to Gun Violence Archive. By the way, when they say 29 mass shootings, what they really mean is you had about 28 gangbanger attacks on the Republic is what it was, where it was like black on white violence in many cases, or just black on black violence in clubs and shit like that is what it was there, and bars and everything else like that. And then you actually had like maybe the actual state is what it was then. So yeah, that's the problem with the Gun Violence Archive. It's a bunch of it's literally fucking lies. It is what it is. And of course, they've redone the whole thing of mass shooting, where it's like instead of being 4 more dead, which is by FBI statistics, what it'd be there, it's now 3 or more wounded, including the shooters. What it is there. So okay, so not they. I guess Gun Violence Archive did change it here. It says organization defines a mass shooting as where there are a minimum of 4 victims, excluding the shooter, who have been either injured or killed in gunfire. Okay, so that's another problem right there, right? Okay, so it doesn't matter if it's 4 or not, dude. Like, it's injured, not killed. When you're talking about injuries, you're talking about people who may have had a broken ankle from running away from the fucking scene or something, dude. And now they're injured in a mass shooting. Fucking ridiculous, dude, is what it is. That's what I'm saying. It's all a bunch of lies, dude. It's a bunch of fucking Democrat bullshit is what it is, man. Anyway, yeah, it's a Florida count. As of November 29, included a March 1st shooting in Cocoa Beach that claimed the lives of 4 people. One on October 29th in Daytona, in which a 14-year-old and 20-year-old were killed. Okay, so yeah, it's basically a bunch of BS. What it is. And as you can see, like right there, dude, that's the whole. That's what I'm talking about right there. It's like basically like club weeks and shit like that, or it's like fucking like Black Bike Week or something like that's going on there at that day, or it's like fucking, you know, like literally spring break and you got people like firing off guns is what it is then. Anyway, continuing on here, it said, as an example of the divide, Senator Tina Polsky, Democrat from Boca Raton, wants to extend background checks to ammunition, so literally an oath-breaking sack of shit, and Tina's a little piece of shit ass. So this is the third consecutive year she has filed a version of the quote Jamie's Law named after Parkland victim, and that's what's even more disgusting, right? You guys may remember that fucking ass clown that was at Trump's inauguration years ago that Nancy Pelosi invited, who was basically shouting shit about kids being killed by guns and stuff. That was the asshole father of that Jamie girl. That was that motherfucker. God, what's that guy's name now? I'm trying to think offhand. Fred Newton, I think that's what it is. I'm trying to remember now. I'm going to look that real quick. I'm going to look up Parkland father and see what pops up here because it should. Yeah, Fred Gutenberg. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, it was Fred Gutenberg. So it was Jamie Gutenberg was the kid that was killed, which ironically enough, she fucking hated her father and was a leftist cunt, dude. So it's like, yeah, your kid was a piece of crap anyway, Fred. Go fuck yourself, you fucking asshole. So, by the way, for those interested who I'm actually referencing, here's what it is. This is that cockstein Fred Gutenberg, this fucking idiot right here, who's a leftist twat locker, basically. And there's a picture of him and his daughter. That was a girl who was killed in Parkland. So, yeah, I think he was like 14 or 15 when she was killed that day. Sad, obviously, like she lost her life, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, her father's just an anti-gun sack of shit, dude. Like, fuck him. Because I guarantee he's one of the ones that behind this shit is what it is, man. Like, oh, put ammunition background checks through that would do fucking nothing, by the way. All it is another way for government to create Hitlerian gun rosters to know exactly what you have and how many rounds of shit you have is what it is there, man. It's a bunch of BS entirely. There's that article we were talking about from yesterday where it was Indiana, where it was despite violent start to 2024, new gun legislation likely a non-starter in Indiana. Anyway, go back on the thing there for the so-called Jamie's Law BS. It said, on the other hand, Representative Joel Rudman from Navarre wants to impose a deadline on law enforcement to complete a background investigation on the purchase of a firearm. His measure, HB 17, would provide law enforcement 3 business days to clear a gun purchase, as it should be. So, yeah, here's that thing yesterday that we were talking about, though.
Control and gun rights advocates are reacting to the violent start to our new year.
This is Indiana.
Tonight, as Fox 59's Hannah Adamson reports, both sides agree that work needs to be done at the State House, but whether anything can get done is already creating tension.
Last year, the Giffords...
The only thing that needs to get done, by the way, in Indiana is they need to repeal their dumbass red flag law, since they're a constitutional carry state now.
Law Center gave Indiana a grade of D-,
Good.
failing to pass gun control legislation it says could save lives, even with the...
Which is an absolute fucking lie. Gabby Giffords is a sack of shit liar, dude. So is her fucking anti-gun organization. The fact that her husband is Mark Kelly, a U.S. senator, who shouldn't even be allowed to run for office based on the fact that he tried to do a straw purchase after her fucking shooting happened, and the gun shop owner would tell him to go fuck himself because he literally admitted to the guy, he's like, oh, I'm going to buy this just to give to law enforcement then. He's like, yeah, you're committing a straw purchase. Go fuck yourself, dude. That dude should have been a appropriate person in this country and been disqualified from running for office is what it is. Not to mention the fact that he should have been disqualified from running for office based on the fact that he is directly contacted to the woman behind a bunch of anti-gun bullshit across this country and would actually be in the room while her anti-gun org is fucking doing a bunch of BS is what it is, dude. So yeah, how is that not a conflict of interest, motherfucker? Oh yeah, that's right, 100% is. That's the whole fucking point entirely. So, there's that one about remove guns from people in crisis. That was that bullshit one there in Kentucky. That CAR, which is what the new version of red flag laws are right now. It's CARR. It's crisis. What do they call it? Crisis something. Retention rights or something, I think is what it is. I forget what the A stands for, but I think that's what it is. And specifically, this woman right here that's photoed in that picture there with the pink on. Her kid, mind you, she's a state rep there. Her kid apparently took their own life because they were like super depressed or something like that a couple years ago, and now she's basically just trying to blame the Second Amendment and guns in general for her child's suicide, even though she didn't fucking see it as a parent. That's what it was, dude. That the kid was obviously in crisis is what it was there. So, yeah. Anyway.
Violent start here in Indianapolis. Hoosiers I spoke to say gun control legislation on the table most likely will not pass.
It better not fucking pass.
It's sad, obviously, but it's also just part of American life.
Ryan Reed says he's no stranger to the effects of gun violence.
I know there's been a lot of people that I was raised around who aren't here or who are doing time. So, yeah.
2.
Which makes sense, because obviously that dude would be in the hood. And as we know, gangbanger shit goes on in the hood all the time is what it is, man.
Democrat-sponsored bills seek to reduce gun violence next
Reduce
session.
gun violence, my
Senate
ass.
Bill 24 would change the minimum age to carry a gun from 18 to 21.
Fuck that shit.
While Senate Bill 95 would allow cities to create their own gun control laws.
Straight up breaking preemption
Jerry
laws.
King, president of Hoosiers Concerned About Gun Violence, says both bills are a modest but important step in the right direction.
No, they're not.
More
This guy looks like a fucking child molester, dude.
Success that a community has.
That guy looks like he's a primitive person, honestly, right there.
Access, utilization of guns, reliance on guns, the better it is.
But Second Amendment lawyer Guy Relford says both bills are most likely dead on arrival.
Good.
The Indiana General Assembly does a nice job of applying a litmus test to different proposals and saying, for instance, is this law, this proposed law, really going to affect criminals
No, it's not.
and criminal activity, or is it only going to affect law abiding
Exactly.
citizens?
It's going to
Reed
attack
says
people's gun
while
rights.
he supports both bills,
We're not really big on change, especially about guns. So it'll be, in like review or something for a few years, but probably it'll get like knocked down or something.
another bill in the works would prohibit Hoosiers from carrying guns into polling places. However, Relford says there are already voter interference laws on the books to address this very issue, and that if this bill were to pass, it could infringe on the rights of law-abiding gun owners.
Exactly. And the real problem with that whole thing, too, is what it is that you have people who will sit there, and this is the problem I have with these anti-gun people is what it is, dude, that are in general assemblies across this country and in Congress and stuff like that right now. You are actively proposing legislation that in many cases is already on the fucking books. That's been on the books for decades, if not centuries for that matter. And you're basically just doubling down because you're too fucking stupid to actually look at previous case laws or do any amount of research at all for that matter. Even, whether it be a minute on the fucking Google search or whether it be 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever the case be, to look up stuff and be like, hey, does this already exist? Okay, it does. Okay, then fuck off then. And it's as simple as that, really. And that's the thing. They never attack criminals, by the way. They never actually go after a criminal element in this country because, shocker, they want to disarm the American people because their end game is to literally genocide all of us. And I will be goddamn if I let that fucking shit happen to me, man, is what it is. Or my family or anybody I love is what it is. For real. Anyway, going back to the Florida General Assembly, there is what it was. You had that Joel guy talking about giving law enforcement 3 days to do background checks. People is what it is there. So anytime you give government agency all the time in the world to complete a simple task, guess how long it takes? Simple task takes. It takes all the time in the world. He said about the no deadline schedule given to Florida Department of Law Enforcement to complete background checks. He counts over 500 constituents who said they waited more than 6 months. 6 months, for God's sakes, for permission to take possession of firearms they'd already purchased. Some waiting for 2 years for a check to be completed. How the fuck is that even constitutional at all, dude? That's a bunch of bullshit entirely. Anyway, so that Rudman guy said 98% of background checks are completed within 3 days in 2017 before the current system was imposed after fucking Park Lane bullshit is what it was. Said, quote, I'm trying to restore some sanity in the process. Said Rudman, who called the bill a common sense solution to delaying Floridians' experience when buying a firearm. So we've got to set what we call a shot clock on the background checks. Don't tell me you can't complete an adequate background check with today's technology within 3 business days. So that Polsky bitch seemingly simmers with frustration as she compares what she considers sensible gun policy to what Redmond proposes and how the GOP supermajority controls which bills get heard in the General Assembly. Yeah, I guarantee this bitch is some fucking MDA commie that got into office here, man. This bitch looks like a goddamn junior Shana Watts is what it is right now, dude. At a state level. Like you're Christine Woolworth, like you're in Ohio is what it is, dude. Like she just looks like a fucking piece of shit cunt in general, dude. Anyway, so for 5 years, Polsky has filed a proposal. She should be fired, by the way. That's why I'm said fired, honestly. But yeah, she said she filed proposals relating to how and who can buy and sell firearms and bullets. and mandating safe storage requirements for guns and ammunition, all of which has gotten a which hasn't gotten a committee hearing, nor should it get a committee hearing. The fact this bitch has been in place now for 5 years, dude, after that shit, no, fuck that. She should have been thrown out of the General Assembly in 2018. Legitimately, dude. There in Florida. Same thing should have happened to all these fuckers in Ohio here, like Allison Russo, Casey Weinstein, etc. back in 2019 when they tried to push a bunch of gun control after Dayton that was an Antifa creative fucking terrorism, dude. Anyway, I'm not even going to bother with her horse shit is what it is because she's a fucking ass clown retard. Anyways, the Governors of America National Gun Rights Group, which claims 2 million members and endorses Rudman's bill and opposes Polsky's bullshit, but dismisses both parties' 2024 gun packages as election year posturing. Yeah, of course they are, dude. It said Luis Valdez, the group's Florida director, wants lawmakers to legalize open carry, which he did a long time ago, by the way, repeal gun-free zones, as I said here in Ohio as well, for that matter, and red flag laws, and allow for purchase of firearms at the age of 18, and questions GOP support for, quote, full restoration of Second Amendment rights. Yeah, because they're a bunch of liars, is what it is. It said Lewis said, why is it that under Republican supermajority, real pro-gun bills are not advancing? Because that's the thing, dude. You got a bunch of rhinos in your fucking state house, what it is there. And like I said before, dude, honestly, the best way that we could change things ourselves right now is here in 2024 and beyond. We run for office ourselves at this point, dude. We back each other financially, etc. You know, do grassroots campaigns. You know, $1 here, $5 there, whatever it is you need, dude. You know, if you can be in the same state as somebody else, like, you know, actually work for their campaign for free if you can, honestly. Help them out, do what you need to do to, you know, go knock on doors and stuff like that and be like, hey, support this candidate. They're a good person and stuff like that. They want to make real change in the state or whatever the case be. And that's how you actually get better people in office then. That's how you don't allow the rhino scumbags that are basically controlled opposition is what it is at this point, who will do just enough to get reelected into office, yet meanwhile not actually give a fuck about your actual gun rights is what it is, dude, in this country. So, anywho. But, yeah, that Lewis guy said, Florida's Democrats have no problem introducing bills that ban guns, expand gun-free zones, make everything require a background check, and be kept locked up, but it appears that Republicans are too scared to do what their counterparts have done in Republican-controlled states, in other Republican-controlled states. Yeah, and that's the whole problem entirely, dude. And that's the real problem with the GOP entirely in this country. It's a bunch of fucking spineless cowards that are basically yes men sucking the fucking government cock to get into office in many cases. And then they'll sit there and turn around and be like, oh no, I'm totally pro to A, bro. Then actually advance fucking legislation and put it on the goddamn floor and put it at the fucking governor's office to pass and get the shit done, dude. Hell, I've been sitting here for over a fucking year now, waiting for these assholes in Ohio to even take up Second Amendment Preservation Act, the 2A sanctuary that I've been fighting for 4 goddamn years now. Over 4 years now, actually, because it's been about 4 years and a few months now is what it is. And yet they still have not actually taken it to fucking floor votes yet, dude. It keeps getting committee hearings, keeps getting changed around just a little bit. But no fucking floor votes, no nothing, dude. Get off your fucking asses, get that shit done. This is what is happening right now in Ohio currently when it comes to gun rights in the state, dude, right now. Number 1, impeach Mike DeWine's ass for HB 68 and a bunch of other bullshit, dude. Throw his ass fuck out of office. Do the same thing with John Husted. Have Matt Hoffman take over for the next 2 years as governor. From there, under Hoffman's governorship, you simply pass HB 51, the Second Amendment Preservation Act. You have Governor Hoffman sign off on that shit to get it done into law. And then you proceed to do a bunch of other pro-gun stuff in this legislature. You have Hoffman as well, for that matter. Not DeWine, but Hoffman sign HB 68 into law, or if nothing else, just override DeWine's veto on it for that matter, before you actually have Governor Hoffman is what it would be then. And yeah, you get shit done is what it is, dear. Do I really think Matt Hoffman's going to be a great fucking governor if he actually was to take over the seats would it be there by impeaching both DeWine and Husted? I don't think it would happen, honestly. Number 1, but if it did, I don't think he would make a great one, honestly, because he's not. The dude is basically career politician, just like DeWine is, honestly, unfortunately. And like I said, he's just one of these other people that's just like a yes man kind of deal. Dude is what it is, where he's like, I'll do just enough to do this stuff. I'll kind of shit talk Mike DeWine, but only to a certain extent is what it is there. It's his deal is what it is there. And it's like, no, dude, grow a fucking spine, grow a fucking backbone. Do what needs to be done for the betterment of the state and the people in the state. Or get the fuck out of office entirely, bro. Because you're out of office at the end of the year anyway, is what it is. You're termed out from the state senate. We all know you're going to try to run for the state house at the end of the year is what it is here now. So, anyway. But, yeah, it's a bunch of shit entirely, man. But, yeah, I totally agree with this Lewis guy. It's so fucking frustrating entirely, dude. Anyway, it says 10 gun proposals filed for 2024 version of Florida legislature include HB 17, which is that Joel Roman guy's thing about 3 business days. Senate Bill 96, done by State Senator Sharvin Jones, who's a black dude, by the way. I looked into that already, which he calls the Self-Defense Restoration Act, which would effectively eliminate Florida's landmark stand your ground law and prohibit the use of deadly force when a person is safely able to retreat without the use of force. How the fuck are you even calling that the Self-Defense Restoration Act, dude? If anything, the Self-Defense Restoration Act should legitimately be just that, to expand where you can actually use deadly force on, where you can actually stand your ground in, et cetera, man. So, yeah, that guy's a complete sack of shit entirely, dude. And if you guys want to see what this motherfucker looks like, I'm going to go ahead and pull up a picture right now of this fucking cocksucker. This is the fucking asshole Democrat right here, this douchebag who is trying to repeal stand your ground in Florida right now. This guy who looks like a BLM terrorist, honestly, in many of these fucking things. Like, yeah, not surprising the least that asswipe is trying to fucking repeal stand your ground, dude, for his fucking buddies that are committing BLM terrorism all over the fucking state. This guy's probably one of these idiots. It's like, oh, Trayvon Martin was such a good young boy. He was such a good boy. He could have been my son. Kind of bullshit. It's like, nah, dude, Trayvon was a fucking sack of shit that night. And so was George Zimmerman, for that matter. Zimmerman was a fucking idiot looking for fucking some shit. Is that what it was there, dude? He should have never been covered under stand your ground in Florida, for that matter. And I'll say it like I said before, man. I said it many times, honestly. Anyway, then what else? Other things in Florida there, you got Senate Bill 130 / House Bill 209 by State Senator Lori Berman, who's a Democrat from Boynton Beach, and Representative Michelle Rayner, who's a Democrat from St. Petersburg, said want to ban guns from buildings, facilities, and programs funded by government entity, including playgrounds, hospitals, residential facilities, and libraries. I'm surprised you actually have. I didn't realize you didn't have guns banned from hospitals in Florida. That's interesting as fuck, dude. So, but no, you should totally be allowed to carry in those places. Is what it is, man. Seriously. Then we got. Actually, let's go ahead and look up these stupid bitches real quick and see what their dumbasses look like, because I haven't done that yet. So this is the state senator who's trying to ban. Oh my god! Look at that! Look how psycho that woman looks in that picture, dude. God damn. She just looks like a fucking. She looks like a nut, dude, for real. Like she I think Duke's right about those crazy eyes, man. Like that woman looks like a fucking psycho. Like for real, man. She just looks like a nut job. Good God. I'll tell you who this woman reminds me of. Actually, she reminds me of Bride Rose Sweeney here in Ohio. Let me go look up Bride Rose Sweeney actually real quick. Yeah, she reminds me of this chick right here is what it is. This is one of Ohio's Democrats. Dude, they have almost the same exact hair color too. That's even funnier. Like going back on that one. Yeah, you got Ohio there, and you got fucking Florida here with almost the exact same hair color. That's funny as fuck. That's too good, man. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Democrats look alike is what it is, man. They're all a bunch of nut jobs. Anyway, and then we got Michelle Rayner, who's another Democrat there from Florida. Let's see what this one looks like, honestly. Oh, yeah, of course. Looks like the Stephanie House of Florida is what it is there, man. Yeah, that one looks like a sack of shit. Oh, God. Her X pronouns, she, they, and tired. Sorry, if you're one of those they, them bitches, lady, you shouldn't be in office at all because you should be in a mental institution, what it is there. Yeah, BLMer. Anyway, then we got House Bill 279 / Senate Bill 15 by Representatives Anna Escamilla, something like that, Democrat from Orlando, and Senate, again, that lawyer woman from Boynton Beach, propose a ban on the sale and transfer of so-called assault weapons, large capacity magazines. Proposed ban covers 15 weapons in the AR series, 21 in the AK series, and 40 other specific so-called assault weapons and magazines. Yeah, those cunts can go fuck themselves, dude, for real. Like, they can go eat a bag of shit is what it is, dude. This is what this Anna woman looks like, by the way. This stupid fucking cunt right here. That woman looks like an Arabic terrorist, by the way. And of course, why I'm not surprised is that her fucking pin there on the lapel is a gay pride ribbon and then a fucking trans pride ribbon. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. People have no business being in office at all, man. Bunch of fucking child molesters. Let's see. Then we got Senate Bill 176 by Senator Tina Polsky, which was the one that did safe storage laws and stuff like that. And we got Senate Bill 180 / House Bill 145 and Senate Bill 182 / House Bill 155. Two proposals by Representative Dan Delaney, a Democrat from Fort Lauderdale, and Polsky would establish Jamie's Law, which would be the ammunition background check thing. And then we got Senate Bill 206 / House Bill 409 by Senator Danny Burgess, a Republican, and Kaylee Tuck, who's another Republican, who want to clarify that a minor must have been adjudicated delinquent of an offense that would be a felony if committed by an adult to lose the right to possess a firearm, ammunition, electronic weapon, and carry a concealed weapon. So this is basically what's interesting about this right here, that the legislation that they're actually pushing forward here is what it is. The Republicans there in the General Assembly is this is already law in Ohio and has been since pretty much the beginning of our state is what it was there, or damn close to is what it was there. It's been on the books for like decades is what it is anyway, if not like a century or so. So anyway, and then we got House Bill 259 / Senate Bill 270 by Democrats Catherine Waldron. This is probably the stupidest legislation I've ever heard in my entire life, by the way. She wants to make it so that they call it a stray bullet bill that makes it a first-degree misdemeanor when a when a target shooter's bullets leave the confines of their property. So basically what she's saying is, if you're hunting in Florida or something like that, let's go and use that as an example right now, right? Like I'm hunting a deer in Florida, or whatever the case be. I shoot the deer with a high caliber rifle, or at least, medium caliber anyway. Said bullet happens to go through said deer and, go into like a tree or something on someone else's property line. Oh, now you're going to catch a misdemeanor because it left your property. What the fuck kind of horse shit is that, man? Like, this is some nonsensical fucking nut job bullshit right here, man. Let's go look up the stupid cunt that actually is trying to put this forward now. Is what it is, dude. Oh, of course. Of course, it's this fucking Karen-looking woman, dude. This woman looks like an insane person. Legitimately, dude. She looks like a fucking nut that belongs in a nut house is what it is, man. For real. Yeah, she looks like every MDA member ever, dude, is what it is. Why do they always look like a foot, by the way? Like, her face looks like a foot, for real, man. It's just weird. Anyway, and then we got Senate Bill 518 / House Bill 291 by that Polsky woman and Representative Christine something or other from Parkland wants stricter requirements for background checks on purchases and the safe storage of firearms, along with a mandate on all firearm sales and transfers be conducted by and proceeded through a licensed dealer. So basically creating legitimate universal background checks is what they should call it. That's what this is actually what it is at the end of the day. And then finally we got House Bill 485 by Representative Robbie Brackett. He's a Republican from Vardo Beach. Would require the county sheriff or local police chief to return to a suspect upon request any weapon confiscated during an arrest. The measure prohibits law enforcement from requesting a court order to release weapons. That's actually a piece of good legislation, but like going back to what Lewis said, it's like, yeah, why are you not actually putting like good legislation forward, Republican legislators in Florida, where you could actually repeal fucking red flag laws, where you could actually expand stand your ground, where you could actually, do better things is what it is there, where you could actually make it so that people could buy guns to 18 again is what it is there, for God's sakes. Like, basically everything that was passed after Parkland, dude, just repeal all that shit is what it is, and you're way better off as a fucking state in this country, honestly. And it's as simple as that, really. So, anyway. That's about it for today, though. I got what it is, so I'll be back tomorrow for Buckshot Thursday. We'll discuss more of this, obviously, with probably Core panel then that day, and just the whole fuckery of all these bullshit ass Democrat laws being pushed forward and stuff like that. And Democrat, this is what it is there. Yes, is what it is, dude. They're all a bunch of scumbag motherfucking tyrants. They all need to be removed from office at this point, or restrictions of law. for oath breaking, etc., for high treason, all that stuff like that, dude, and be treated accordingly is what it is, man. You know, like honestly, I'll tell you what we really need in this country, honestly, is a Tar and Feathers Act. And it's like, yeah, if you're going to propose anti-gun shit like this to restrict people's constitutional rights, dude, you should be tarred and feathered in the street is what it is, period, in the story. Like, that would do well. Because even the threat of someone being tarred and feathered would probably get them to stop fucking off and actually respect people's constitutional rights. You know, you wouldn't have to do the fucking tar and feathering then. It would just be the threat that could happen is what it is, you know? Now, granted, that being said, I'm sure there would be somebody that would like press the issue is what it is, and they would actually have to have them tar and feathers would be then. But that would be, you know, way, way down the line is what it would be though. So, yeah. But yeah, I think that's the real problem in the country right now is you have a lot of feather throwers, but you don't have a lot of tar throwers anymore. You know, you don't have a lot of the guys that would step up and be the first person chucking a bucket of something at somebody then. You got the people that would want to toss the feathers at someone, and it's like, that's fine if you have, you know, something in those feathers or whatever the case be that would like fuck that person up too. But yeah, it'd be much, much better to have more people that want to throw that hot tar on someone's ass is what it is, dude. So when they're doing oath breaking shit in this country is what it is. So anyway, but yeah, I think that's a lot of reason why we haven't had something kick off in this country right now for revolution or something like that is what it is, because you have people who will sit there and they'll be cool with pushing forward whatever, but they don't think everybody's going to back them up, so they won't actually go through with this, what it is there. Like, specifically, like, people going to citizens arresting, like, a corrupt politician or something like that, dude, when they actually have felony charges in hand for that person, would be then. And yet, meanwhile, they're like, well, I'm not going to do that alone kind of thing. And then there's, like, looking around, there's like, nobody backing up, so it is then, so they're not going to do it at all. But, and risk their freedom, obviously, in the process. So, which is true, honestly. If that, I can, you know, attest that myself if that be the case, dude. If I had the ability right now where I had like 50 people backing my ass up right now, I would lead the fucking charge with papers in hand for various fucking felonies committed by a bunch of Democrats here in Ohio is what it is. From Allison Russo to Casey Weinstein to Beth Liston to Bride Rose Sweeney to Anita Samani, etc. A bunch of child abuse charges, etc. They're committed right now. And all this other stuff like that, for that matter. Deprivation of law, you know, actual felony bribery, hate hoaxes themselves, etc. there. And I would personally lead the charge to arrest every single one of these fuckers with citizen's arrest right now. They're removing them from office that way is what it is. But of course, I don't know if anybody's going to back me up on that one. So, you know, I'm not going to do that. That's what it is right now. So that's what it is. But, yeah, hopefully we can work on Section 2, some of these people out of office then by the end of the year is what it'll be. Or at least get them primaried out of office. And if that'd be the case come May is what it'll be then. So, anyway, but that being said, that's where we're at for the day, though. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Have a good Wednesday. We'll be back tomorrow, like I said, for Buckshot Thursday, where we discuss more two-way related stuff for the day. And we'll obviously do Freedom Friday this week as well, where we talk about various, you know, topics of constitutional rights and everything else like that's what it is. So, which obviously those two series will be the first of their kind for the year is what it is now, where we'll have the first Buckshot of the year. And we'll have the first Freedom Friday of the year. Probably Freedom Friday this week actually will be, we'll actually do what we were going to discuss a couple weeks ago, which is basically what we think SHOT Show is going to look like this year is what it is for new guns and stuff. I know Taurus is already making a TH-10 now in 10 millimeter. That's actually a pretty cool looking gun. I would love to actually have one of their double action, single action TH series guns. The problem is, again, finances for me is what it is. I don't have the money to go out there and buy one right now, unfortunately. But yeah, I would love to have one of those guns in my collection right now, because I would love to be able to have a hammer fire double action, single action. So, but unfortunately I don't have that yet. So, which unfortunately is the problem with being poor. And then you have dumbass Democrats and piece of shit oath breakers like that, who will sit there and try to restrict your rights even further by, you know, fucking off and trying to do gun bans and stuff like that. And then of course, what does that do? It shoots the fucking price up of guns like crazy and stuff like that, dude. Every time you have a Democrat call for gun control, it literally increases the fucking price by like 30 or $40 each time. That's what it is, man. So, not to mention inflation, everything like that nowadays is what it is. But anyway, that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see y'all in the next one. Have a good one, y'all. And like we always like to say at the end of these, make sure to always be carrying with one in the chamber, because you never know if something's going to pop off where you would have to stop a deadly threat. And if you have to be the person that is that first responder to that deadly threat, make sure that you are willing to take the ability and the shot that is needed to take down that threat and end the fucking entire massacre in its tracks right then and there. And it's as simple as that. Later, everybody.